Yes. It's female genitalia mutilation.
Yes, I didn't know the acronym, but I know the words. Now that you've told me what the acronym means, I know.
Assuming I'm assuming it's female genital mutilation.
Female genital mutilation.
Yes, it is the sewing of the female clitoris.
Right? It's female genital mutation, right?
I'm really not sure. I know it happens in Africa, but that's pretty much it.
I think in Africa, is that the thing?
I know it's a big deal in Africa, and that it's something that's affecting a lot of young girls.
Not probably within the United States of America.
Listening to the news, I think it's prevalent in mostly Middle Eastern countries and African countries.
I know that it goes on in Africa a lot, and people are still affected by it.
Bad thing.
Bad, very, very bad.
It's probably a good thing, but I don't know what it is.
I think it's a very bad. It's pretty cruel to those who it's affecting.
Well, based on what I know, which is not a lot, but it just sounds like a process that's obviously very painful. I guess it's a cultural practice in a lot of places, but it sounds horrible.
I don't know. It strikes me as like unnecessary a little bit.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I was about 11 years old. I don't think I've ever felt that type of a fear. It's the hearing other people around you screaming and you having to go into that same room. You are forced down, your legs are spread open, and you're cut. You know from that moment on, you're no longer who you are.
We are not happy to marry a woman that has not been circumcised.
Female genital mutilation is a 5,000-year-old harmful cultural practice that removes part or all of the female genitalia. It is practiced in 28 countries in Africa, some countries in the Middle East, and Iraq. The goal and aim was to subjugate women, to control their sexuality, to guarantee their virginity until marriage. So now, 5,000 years later, it still occurs.
I think we've always thought that FGM is something that happens over there. We have girls that have had FGM performed living right here, and we look at the various diaspora communities, and as they grow, the number of girls at risk is growing as well.
What are you gonna do? Come. My name is Aissata Mune Belgrade Camara. I am originally from the Republic of Guinea. I am 25 years old, and I am also a student at NYU. I moved to the United States when I was about 13 years old. It was a way to get away from the trauma. And when I went to school, to hear people talk about women's rights and the right to one's body. So it was definitely different.
Did you like the library? I don't think you've ever been in the Africa. It's nice, right?
My niece Hawa is 12 years old. She is not circumcised.
Let me do a selfie.
If Hawa were to go to Guinea, and if she were to stay there for a long time, she would probably be cut because that's the culture.
I told you guys the cake that I want for my birthday. Maybe I want to get
The risks of FGM are extremely high for the daughters of those communities. Some parents can find a friendly doctor. You also have the situation where you will have a circumciser come into the country and she cuts as many girls as she can.
Most notably is the practice or phenomenon of quote-unquote vacation cutting.
Well, even when I was in Guinea, people used to come from Europe, from America. They will be on vacation and they will be cut and then they will go back.
I don't know of anyone who's been prosecuted. I do think there are some resistance because it's a very private, very personal issue. Aside from having the laws in the books, I haven't seen a massive campaign to eradicate FGM.
We're going back to book.
But laws serve this idea of prevention.
And so it's really, really critical not just to tell people that FGM is against the law and is a crime, but also to educate them about the health consequences of FGM.
I am still dealing with health problems. For me, the fact that I was moving, I have scar tissue. Some people have told me I should get surgery. You can be in relationships. I don't trust people enough. You don't love yourself as much as you should. Definitely, I'm dealing with physical and other mental consequences.
Imagine if the wind could blow us away and then take us to a different place.
If FGM were performed on a boy, we would go from the removal of the tip of the penis to the entire removal of the penis and the testes.
It would mean it would be so cool.
It would become an urgent matter that we as a society would address.
You just raise yourself.
50 years ago in this country, no one would talk about sexual violence or rape. A taboo reduces when you break the silence, and I do not believe that the silence has been broken in New York or anywhere in the United States about FGM.
The hair is looking wild.
I'm proud to say that I'm not circumcised. I will like for my niece to live her life and to know that she is good enough and that she doesn't have to go through these things. A life where she will have her whole body, she will love herself no matter who she is.
I didn't know what it was before, and now I do, and I think it's horrifying.
Yeah, like I started out with a little more of a neutral opinion on it than I am now. And I didn't start out with a neutral opinion.
I think it makes it much more black and white. You know, I've always known it was terrible, but I guess in my quest to be respectful of other cultures and anything that's different from what I know, I've been I've just tried to be careful.
I didn't realize that it was so widespread. I thought it was more centered to just African countries.
Like everything that happens in Africa and everything that we hear about in the news kind of feels very distant and it feels very far away.
Yes, I don't think that before the video I realized how prevalent it is even in America for things like this to happen.
The video really drives home how cruel and horrific FGM is.
Like I wanted to do something to stop it.
I was surprised. I knew I would be. I was surprised at how I didn't really think it happened here. I didn't know.
Horrified? It made me feel sad and kind of angry that things happen like that to women.
Sad, angry, disgusted.
Sad. I think that's the first. Sad because no woman should, be made to feel that her body as it is somehow not acceptable. I think that was the hardest part to hear, is that it's not acceptable for me to just be who I am.
I don't know, kind of like uplifted at the end because, I think there's room for change. And I feel like women in that culture are learning that, they can accept themselves. But most of all, just horrified and, really upset because that's being forced on people. And that,
That was very sad. I didn't realize how many people it affected and how major of a cause it was.